Florida, a land of sunshine, endless coastlines, and booming real estate. But recently the headlines have been a lot darker, with warnings of a slowdown, or even a potential crash. You've probably heard the concerns. Is Florida's housing bubble about to burst? Well, the answer is yes, and no. Today we're exploring both sides of the story to find out what's really going on. Stick around, because by the end, you might have a different perspective on Florida's real estate future. Let's start with what's driving this apparent slowdown. From sky-high inventory to soaring insurance costs, these factors are causing a ripple effect throughout Florida's housing market. The most obvious red flag: inventory. Florida's housing inventory has spiked dramatically. In March 2024, the state led the nation with a 57% year-over-year increase in active listings. This surge in inventory is partly due to the sheer volume of new homes that developers built in response to the pandemic boom. But now, with demand softening, many of these new listings are sitting unsold. When inventory rises rapidly like this, it signals that buyers aren't snapping up homes as quickly as they were just a year or two ago. In a balanced market, inventory moves steadily. But with so many options now available, buyers can afford to be choosy. This means that homes linger on the market longer and sellers may need to drop prices to attract offers. To give you some context, back in 2008, Florida also experienced a similar spike in inventory, which ultimately led to a drastic drop in home prices. Now, while today's market conditions are different in many ways, the current inventory trends do echo those pre-crash warning signs. Next up, affordability. The median sales price for a home in Florida hit $419,000 in June 2024, marking a 2.3% increase from the previous year. On top of that, mortgage rates are climbing, making homeownership less achievable for middle-income families. Let's break down what this means for the average buyer. Imagine a young couple looking to buy their first home. 2 years ago, mortgage rates were around 3%, and they could comfortably afford a $400,000 home. Today, with rates hovering around 7%, that same couple might only qualify for a $300,000 home, drastically limiting their options. This affordability issue has priced many buyers out, and it's slowing down overall demand. Compared to national averages, Florida is now one of the most expensive housing markets in the country, especially for middle-income families. States with lower costs of living like Texas or Tennessee are becoming more attractive to people seeking affordability. And this shift in migration could impact Florida's market in the long run. Another major factor is rising insurance premiums. Florida's insurance costs are skyrocketing, largely due to the state's exposure to hurricanes and extreme weather events. Some homeowners are seeing rate hikes of up to 400%, pushing their monthly housing costs to new highs. Imagine owning a home in Naples. Just a couple of years ago, your annual insurance cost might have been around $3,500. Today, it's not uncommon to see that rate spike to over $12,000. For retirees or those on fixed incomes, this is a game changer. These soaring costs are forcing some homeowners to make tough decisions: sell, downsize, or relocate to less disaster-prone states. Historically, Florida has faced insurance challenges, but experts say we're reaching new highs. Premiums are now among the most expensive in the country, surpassing even places like California, where wildfire insurance is a significant cost factor. These expenses are making homeownership tough for current residents and deterring new buyers. Regulations on older condo buildings have also played a role. Since the tragic Surfside condo collapse, Florida passed stricter laws requiring older condos to undergo regular structural inspections and maintain substantial reserve funds for repairs. While these measures are necessary for safety, they've made condo ownership much more expensive. Many condo owners, particularly in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, have seen their monthly HOA fees double, or even triple, to cover these new requirements. For those looking to buy, these fees can be a deal breaker. As a result, condo sales are dropping and some owners are looking to sell before fees climb any higher. According to real estate analyst John Carmichael, these regulations have slowed the condo market significantly, especially for older buildings. It's a necessary step, but it's pushing some residents out and making condos less attractive to buyers. Lastly, let's talk about the unpredictable hurricane season. Many new residents moving to Florida in recent years are facing their first real exposure to intense hurricanes. The 2024 season alone saw multiple destructive storms, leaving some new Floridians questioning their decision to move here. Consider a young family who relocated from Illinois to Florida last year, drawn by the sunshine and lifestyle. After two major hurricanes in one season, they're now rethinking their choice. This scenario is becoming more common as new residents face the reality of Florida's climate risks. Now that we've seen the challenges, let's look at why some experts are still optimistic about Florida's housing market. From booming cities like Miami to steady population growth, here's the case for long-term resilience. Despite the slowdown, Miami remains a hub for luxury real estate. High net worth buyers from around the world continue to see Miami as a desirable investment. And luxury properties in areas like South Beach and Brickell are still in demand. Luxury real estate tends to perform independently of broader market trends. High-end buyers are often less affected by mortgage rates or affordability issues. In Miami, we're seeing properties worth $5 million and above selling almost as quickly as they're listed. This resilience in the luxury sector helps buoy the entire market. Florida's population is still growing. With its favorable tax laws, warm climate, and lack of a state income tax, Florida continues to attract people from across the country. Even in a slower market, steady population growth creates long-term demand. Compared to states like California, which has seen significant population outflow, Florida's migration numbers are holding strong. With thousands of new residents arriving each month, there's a natural demand for housing. That could keep prices from crashing outright. Florida's economy is diversifying beyond just tourism and hospitality. In cities like Tampa and Orlando, tech startups, finance firms, and healthcare companies are establishing a presence, bringing high-paying jobs to the state. Orlando, for example, has seen significant growth in tech and healthcare, while Tampa's financial sector is attracting major firms. These jobs are creating more stable, long-term demand for housing. And as these cities continue to grow, the demand for suburban and urban housing is expected to follow. Finally, let's look at the big picture. Real estate is historically a long-term investment, and Florida has always been a state with a strong recovery track record. While we may be in for a correction, many analysts believe Florida's housing market will stabilize and continue to appreciate over time. During the 2008 housing crisis, Florida's market took a massive hit. But within a decade, property values had not only recovered, but exceeded pre-crisis levels in most areas. Analysts argue that despite the current slowdown, Florida's fundamentals remain strong for long-term growth. Real estate is a long-term game, says Jenna Moore, a real estate analyst. While Florida might see some short-term corrections, the state's popularity and steady growth mean it's unlikely to see a major crash. So, is Florida's housing market about to crash? It's complicated. Yes, there are serious challenges from rising costs to increased inventory. But with a growing population, economic diversification, and steady demand for luxury properties, the market also has reasons for optimism. What do you think? Are we headed for a correction, or is Florida's real estate market poised to weather the storm? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into Florida's ever-changing real estate landscape. Until next time, stay informed.